It was a cold, rainy evening in the city, and the streets were slick with reflections of neon lights and passing cars. Emily, a young woman barely in her 20s, was running through the rain, clutching her small bag tightly to her chest. Her breath came in quick, shallow gasps as she glanced nervously over her shoulder. Someone was following her, and fear had settled deep in her bones. She didn't know where to go or who to trust, but she knew she needed to get away fast. As she reached a deserted corner, she spotted a taxi parked under a flickering street lamp. Without hesitation, she raised her hand and waved frantically. The taxi's driver, an older man named Sam, noticed her immediately. Sam had been driving cabs for over 20 years, and he had learned to read people not just by their faces, but by their energy. Something about Emily told him she wasn't just a typical passenger. She looked scared, desperate, but strangely silent. The taxi door swung open, and Sam smiled gently, saying nothing, just motioning for her to get in. Emily climbed inside, shutting the door softly behind her. The warmth inside the taxi was a sharp contrast to the cold rain outside. Sam turned on the meter, but then, instead of heading toward the city center as usual, he took a sudden turn onto a side street. Emily looked at him, confused but too shaken to ask why. Sam's eyes were calm and steady in the rearview mirror. He didn't speak, but his silence was comforting. It was clear he understood her situation without words. The streets they drove through were unfamiliar to Emily, twisting through narrow alleys and quiet neighborhoods. The usual hustle and bustle of the city was replaced by eerie stillness. All the while, Emily's heart pounded as she kept glancing behind her, hoping the figure following her wouldn't catch up. She didn't want to alarm the driver with her panic, so she said nothing, only gripping her bag tighter. Sam kept his eyes on the road but also watched the rearview mirror intently. After several tense minutes, Sam pulled the taxi into a well-lit area near a police station. Without saying a word, he gestured toward the building. Emily finally understood. Relief and gratitude flooded through her, but she was too overwhelmed to speak. Sam helped her out of the cab and stayed with her until the officers took her inside. Later, Emily learned that the man following her had a history of violence and was known to the police. If Sam had driven her the usual route, she might never have made it to safety. Sam's quick thinking and silent communication had saved her life. When asked why he hadn't called the police or spoken to her during the ride, Sam simply shrugged and said, "Sometimes words aren't needed. You just have to listen with your eyes." Emily never forgot Sam's kindness and bravery. Though he never sought fame or thanks, in her eyes, he was a hero, a silent guardian who saved her without uttering a single word. This story reminds us how sometimes the most powerful actions come not from loud declarations, but from quiet understanding and courage. Sam's example teaches us that noticing someone's pain and responding with calm action can make all the difference. It also shows that heroes exist all around us, often invisible, acting silently to protect and save. If you ever find yourself in a moment where words fail, remember the taxi driver who saved a girl without saying a word. Courage and kindness speak louder than anything else. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to True Vibe Stories for more inspiring real-life tales that touch your heart and soul. Your support helps us bring you more true stories of hope, courage, and humanity every week.